It's on 40 meters right now. Let me put it on slow tune. Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. John here, and you're on the Sky One Videos channel. Yes, today I got the glasses on, wearing the NASA shirt, because today I am working on the KD1JV Tri-Bander QRP radio. Got the police scanner going here. A lot going on. Rainy weekend, so I thought, yeah, I would try this QRP project. I actually got this for Christmas, and I haven't gotten around to opening it up yet. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to do some assembly, and yeah, we're going to check out this rig. It's a CW only. I believe it has memories. It's got a memory CW on it. So yeah, should be pretty good. So yeah, let's see what we find. Okay, I got some of the parts in here. Looking on the resistors first. I'll get rid of the flux when I'm done. Got a little holder here. Works out really well. I haven't used it too much. Got my little trays that I printed it with my 3D printer. And soldering iron I haven't used in a while. Got my pistachios for snack. And I've got someone who's supposedly helping me locate, but this is not working out. Yeah, it's fun doing these things. Just take your time, move right along. I've been coloring in where I put the resistors. Just, I don't know, sometimes if you can't find a location. But they are really well organized from the top left down to the bottom. So, yeah. Anyway, almost done. Just got a few more resistors to go, and then we'll go on the capacitors. Oh, I want to show you, this is the solder I'm using. It's really thin. Really thin stuff. Most people use this type of solder. And this is a nice solder, but it doesn't work that good. It's yeah, Kester. But for this kind of stuff, no. I'm using multi-core. And this is kind of old. Usually old solder doesn't work so good, but this stuff's working really well. So not having too much problem with bridging or anything like that. And the tip of my iron looks like this, really small. Got it dialed in at about, I got it up, run it up a little high. I run the temperatures a little bit high, but that's what I'm running at. Anyway, moving right along. So I'm just sticking them in the holes here. And I try to make them so, like, the gold is either to the right or down. That'll help for troubleshooting if I screwed up. And sometimes I bend them in. Sometimes I bend them out, depending on what's adjacent. So, yeah, I'll hit the iron with the solder there, and then I'll pull the iron out, back out on the wire, to suck up the extra solder. It's a little technique you get. When you first put the solder down, it'll bubble, then it'll pull into the hole, then you back out, slide the tip up this. See if I can do this on camera here. I'll slide the tip this way, pull the extra solder out. That's my technique. I don't have a little tripod to hold this thing, so I'm just going to show you as I do each one. You can see. So when I slid it up, it came up the wire. I'm going to have to hit some more solder on there so I can focus it on it. Anyway, I don't have my soldering glasses on. I'm just using my regular glasses. Hard to see this stuff when you get old. So I hit it again, and you can see. Focus, come on. A little bit better. Almost looks like a cold solder joint there, but it's not. It's just the flux. But yeah, and I'll give that a little snip, and we should be good. Okay, so here I accidentally plugged a hole. Now, a lot of times if I do that, and it's just like for a capacitor or whatever, I don't bother try to clear that. I just push the pin through from the other side, and heat it as I'm pushing it through. But in this one, it's a chip. Sorry, it's not focusing. In any case, that'll be a problem. I'm just going to clear it. To do that, what I do, the way I do it, is I use one of these solder suckers, and you just kind of press down on this thing. It's a little plunger, and then you heat up the pin as you press this button, and it sucks it in there. I also use a little bit of solder paste, flux. And it waters down the solder real easy, like water, and then you can suck it out real easy. So that's how I do it. I don't like too much because these are real small holes, and this is really not designed for this. They've got different tools for that, but this is what I got, so this is what I'm going to do. Okay, as you see, I rotate it. You can see the light through all the holes now. So, yeah, that was easy breezy. I did it all on the same side. I hit it, got it molten, and then I brought the solder sucker in and sucked it out. So that's the deal. Okay, I soldered in the crystals. It had me ground the top of them, and I'm now putting in the sockets. Thank goodness they got sockets for this thing. But very important, see the little notch? 386, see that little notch there? Make sure that when you put them in, you put them that way. You want to make sure this thing is flush against the board. I've been bend over like pin 1 and pin kind of hold it, and then as I'm soldering, I push up on it with my other hand, so to make sure it's flush against the board. But yeah, moving right along here. Just showing you this coil when I wrap it. I usually spread it out after. I wrap it close together. When I spread it out, it tightens it up. I also put a little bit of flux on here, and you got to sand this. You got to sand this wire so you can get the solder to stick to it. So you sand that down, and then I put a little flux on it, and I pre-tin it before I put it through the board. So I'm going to tin this, and then I'm going to stretch these out so that they're evenly spaced, and then I'm going to put it in the board. Just thought I'd show you that. Some people have a hard time. Remember, each turn is each time it passes through the metal. All right, that's all you got to count. Just want to remind you, when you install these sockets, watch for the little notch. This little notch, that's for pin 1. If you happen to solder one of these in incorrectly, you could put a little piece of paint, you know, a little paint to show where pin 1 is supposed to be. Watch for little bubbles that sometimes tend to pop if you get the temperature wrong. A little bit of moisture. I'm going to clean this up with some flux off when I'm done. Yeah, so far so good. Okay, so I got a lot more parts pushed in there. A lot of those little capacitors. One of them, when I tried to form the lead a little bit, I broke the capacitor, so I have to get another one of those. But yeah, moving right along, heading over to the transistors next. Okay, I'm about to start the 20 meter band module. They come in like these little packs. Each band module comes in a little pack. I'll show you the 15 meter, which looks like it could be a 15 or 17 meter band. Let's see. So I like that they group the parts together by module, I guess you could say. And winding these is a lot of fun. You get used to it though, it's not too bad. And you gotta sand the ends of the wire so that, so let me get a little bit of sandpaper here, so that the solder will stick to it. And shouldn't take too long. So I've got 2 more bands to go, and then I'm gonna do some final prep. And then we go into some final testing. So there's the, here it is. And having a lot of fun with it, just taking my time, not in any rush. And see how it goes. Haven't made any major mistakes. So that's good too. Alright, final viewing of the board. Again, this is a jumper that they had me put on there. But I cleaned off the flux. I gotta make sure this... I see some cat hairs, but I don't see any bridges. That's what I'm looking for, bridges and bad solder joints. But yeah, that's my solder job. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I did not read the instructions carefully about this connector. See how it's been cut? Yes, sir. I soldered it from the top. Yeah, I thought it went to the top and out, and I screwed up. So I cut it because I didn't want to try to unsolder all those pins. I cut it and then mounted it below it, and I was able to salvage this thing. Wow, so lucky. Now, because there's so many pins there, what I was going to do is just cut the connector apart and just remove all the pins one at a time, clear out the holes, put a new connector in there. But I was able to do it this way, and worked out really well. So if you do a kit, before you do a big solder job with a lot of pins, double check, triple check. What happened is I left off at a certain point, and I had just kind of placed it together, and I was like, oh, I need to read this instructions a little better, and I didn't. I came back, I was like, oh, let's just start soldering, because I was all happy because I was working on the lid, painted that red. So yeah. So anyway, here's the board. I need to put it in the chassis. I got everything, all the leads ready, and we're about to do some testing. I got to show you another mishap here. I was originally going to have this bottom chassis be black, right? But the thing is the decals they gave me, let's see, for the back, you know, that tell you what go where, they're black. They don't give me white. So I repainted. I made this white over here, and then I'll put the decals on the back, you know, and then put clear over that. So should be okay. Be red, white, and blue. It'll be blue in the front, white in the back, and then red on the top. Okay, this is called the bail, and what it does is it pivots up to hold the front of the radio up. Alright, so I've got the board in the case. It's not screwed down yet, but that's how it's looking right there. And I'll have to wire up some connectors in the back, and then the switch. Just to be careful doing the band selection, make sure you get that right. So we're coming right along. Alright. Got the knobs in, soldered up on the switches. Alright guys, hallelujah, I got it done all together. It's working really well. Show you the output on it. You know, so it's like 7 or 8 watts. I bought the 20 meter, 40 meter, and 15 meter. Turn the volume down. Get my little paddle right there. Get my speed up to snow. Look, check this out. When I switch the switch, it tells you what band it is. I also got, like, if I want to tune, see, that's slow, right? If I want to go fast, I press and hold. It gives me on the speaker the letter F for fast, and this will change frequencies a lot quicker. And then I do it again, press and hold. Now it says S, which means slow. I just press it once. See, this is my receive offset. I forget what the select button does. I think it's the memory key. This thing's got a iambic here. Yeah, and it's got a memory key and a press it called CQ. So I think I have to hit the paddle over to one side and press that at the same time. But yeah, check out that red. I have to buff it. I love the looks of that. That came out really nice. At first I was like, oh my gosh, look at all these colors, because I kind of wanted real traditional, like black. Then I saw the faceplate and I'm like, blue, huh? So I was going to do black and then the blue front, but then the decals they gave me for the back, I'll turn it around, were all black. I didn't have any white decals, so I had to paint it white. So I just did the back of it white, front of it blue, top of it red, white, and blue. So anyway, it works really well. It does about 7 watts. I'm excited to make my first contact with it. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you have a little kit that you liked building, let me know. I got to tell you about this kit here from these guys, Pacific Antenna. Like they got a few different names. Anyway, QRPkits.com is their website. This board was really well silk screened. You know, sometimes you go to working on a kit and it just, I don't know, you can't read the board and the instructions aren't very clear, and then they don't tell you, you know, that it's brown, black, red for the color of the resistor, so you have to like do all that calculation. And they got it all down on this one. This is great. Everything was straightforward. My own little screw up on the display, but as you can see, it works just fine. I didn't really like the way the plastic, they said to tape it in here. I don't know. Probably if I clear coated on the inside of this thing, the tape would stick a little better. But anyway, yeah, really digging the rig. Here's my other QRP radio. Let me bring it over here. This is the RS918 SSB. I'll put a link to this one on my description because this is a really, really nice radio. But this one was $500. Still a lot cheaper than this other stuff, the KX3s and all that. And this thing is unbelievable. Really like this. But I didn't really build this one, you know. That one was pre-built. So this one here, you know, soldering and everything, I got to use my old soldering iron, my little board holder, everything. It was so nice having all the tools. I even had a can of the flux remover. I was going to use lacquer thinner, but the flux remover worked great. And I haven't even aligned this thing yet. I just like turned it on and then I just turned a couple trimmer caps to get maximum volume. That's all I did. But when I checked with the other radio, my ICOM, the frequency is like really close, not that far off at all. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day. All right, bye. But it's so pleasant to listen to, this thing. See my big fingers. I get this zoomed way in there. You can hear it go da-da-da-da. That's F for fast. Just a da-da-da with S. So I got a memory keyer on it. Got my 3 bands. It's 8:48 in the morning, so I'm not sure if there's much on 20 meters yet. But not a bad unit. I took this to the beach and actually to the balcony. I didn't actually take it on the. I'm worried about sand blowing on the thing, but I did take it to the beach with me. We just set it up on the balcony, and I was listening to some stations. I had the Alex loop antenna. It's a small magnetic loop, but I didn't bring anything to hold it. I forgot to bring the little tripod, so. Anyway, it seemed to work pretty good. I didn't make any contacts. I just kind of listened for a little bit. So it's kind of a cool rig. This was like $200. It was fun to build, fun to solder. See if I can find anything here on 20. But see, I don't hear like a lot of static. Even though I aligned it, it's not all that noisy. You could probably hear my air purifier running here. We got some smoke from that fires in Canada, so I'm running the air purifiers in the house. Call on CQ. Anyway, she works. Fun little project. If you've built a QRP from scratch, let me know. I'm also looking, there's a Zygu that just came out. I'm interested in that because it has a battery pack, has a speaker, has an antenna tuner. Might be wanting to use something like that where it's just one unit I can grab and the antenna. That'd be ideal. But these CW only rigs force you to do CW, right? So anyway, thanks for watching. Please put a comment in there and tell me what you think.